Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Aztec Flow titled The Burbs. And if we switch over to here, this track features Chief Maez and it's on YouTube, so you know. I've reviewed Aztec Flow stuff before, it's been good, so I'm looking forward to more of it. I think they're an act from Australia, and I figured as much because I recognized the style of the BP buildings that they have. They have similar ones here in New Zealand. So I figured it was one of the two. But anyways, gonna listen through this track from start till finish, and we're gonna hear what we think. Let's go. We moving now, I'm smoking now my neighbor's house. Yeah, they done hate me. Oh, excellent development. They just mad cause their daughter wanna date me. Like who give a damn? I know you don't think you're in love with a can. That's why I don't drink. You're talking like man, where we gon' link? You on the ground like every damn week. Soon as I ran, the police on me. Then you the one that be stitching on me. You cannot live free if you look like me. And if I speak, I get bitches hated on me. Sorry to interrupt here. I just want to give a shout out to that really beautiful organ tone there. The bright shimmery organ. Is a great contrast to what's going on with that really kind of throaty bass in the low end there, and the drums, nice side chaining on that as well. Great variation as well to the percussion. We're not just sitting on one kind of beat, we're developing it as we go along. And the vocals are on point too. I'm happy with it so far. Cool it down. I ain't really come around another town. Hit me with a text, like what's next? Man, fuck your bitches, y'all get no respect. Whipping through the birds. Solid studio production. Watch me pass you nerves. Everything can blurs. Whipping through the birds. Everything to stir. Damn, I miss my turn. Whipping through the birds. When we had like obviously the music boxy kind of like thing going over top with the bridge transition with the modulated vocals, and then we have the guitar and then the little acoustic drum fill, and then the Burbs hook line there, and then just we're smashing through it, and there's just so much in the first minute. It's great use of time. Talk too much. Alan and Chalk, I'm staying hush. Dudes in the bars, they fuck with us. Using some nerves for bugging us. Moving through your street, first ask where the gang at. Added to the homies on his foot, tell me where we hang at. Unseasoned me, one B, I can change that. Neighbors leaving notes every week, little lame ass. I'll be outside, never need a spray tan. With your wifey, make her do a rain dance. If you moving like I'll make him break dance. City come me on a ring where my face at. Door knock, finna leave him face flat. Never trace smoke, only trace bags. Doing minutes like a joke, we don't pay last. With the homie, he a loc, only take cash. Daughter looking at me like a finna wife her. Man, you lucky I ain't with it, I don't even one night her. Neighborhood watch, you can fuck around and type up. Please never fight, find out they ain't like us. I mean, that's just fantastic. I assume that's Chief Maez. And that's just fantastic flow as well. Different vocal texture and timbre. Easy to identify who's who. And the quality of the audio of the recording as well is great. You really can't really do better than this with what they're presenting. I think that it's really promising. Can't really fault it. Man, fuck your bitches, y'all get no respect. Whipping through the birds. Watch me pass you nerves. Everything can blurs. Whipping through the birds. Everything to stir. Damn, I miss my turn. Great double tracking as well. Love it ups. Watch me pass you nerves. Everything can blurs. Whipping through the birds. Everything to stir. Damn, I miss my turn. Whipping through the burbs. Whipping through the burbs.
Hunter is the first aid medic of this shoot. I just saved some guy's life, you know, he cut his fucking finger off. Hey. And I bandaged it up for him. He's going to a hospital right now. First aid, you know, BTS, the Burbs, you know how it is. Things get bloody, but we make it work, man. You know, when you got Big Utter, the first aid connoisseur, you don't have to worry about a saw.
Alright, mate, have you finished talking shit? Get off the set. You're not even meant to be here, mate. Get off.
Great banter. There's really great personality to it. They're having a good time, man. It's great to hear them doing that. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track by Aztec Flow featuring Chief Maez, titled The Burbs. What do I think this track is about? I think that this song is about them talking about going through the suburb that they're in, the people they interact with, those who are maybe like not talking smack about them, or the issues they have with people and not giving them respect because they're just too busy going through the burbs, you know, doing what they got to do to make their way through the world as career musicians. I think that's kind of the vibe of it, you know, like that there's a part where they said they don't own or don't give no respect or whatever, like you don't give no respect or something like that. And I think the impression there, as well as them talking about, if I didn't mishear this, it's something about like not even want to get with the person's like girlfriend or something like that for a one night stand. So it's basically just saying they're not worried about what you think of them. They're just doing their thing and enjoying their life. And yeah, I think that's cool. If that's the case, I think I got the hang of that. I think it's a story that a lot of people will be able to resonate with. It's par for the course for the genre. And with all respect, and I think that's fine because again, like if you're succeeding in this kind of music, then that's great, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Because for one, the vocal quality, the rapping from both Aztec Flow and Chief Maez is great. You know, they've got slightly different styles. For a lot of the time, I think Aztec was sticking with either the 8ths or we were working with the triplets, whereas I think Chief Maez was working with the 16ths. And it was a little bit smoother from Chief Maez, not because I think he's a better rapper. This isn't what I'm saying. It's just sometimes people are a little bit more sort of kind of like casual and kind of like chilled out, and then other people are sort of more like in kind of like focused mode. And I like to kind of like, there's a slight differences between them. And I think that both of them had slightly different ways of approaching their verses, with Aztec Flow covering, and I assume like people doing backing tracks as well as him doing like the distorted overdubs. They had enough like kind of tonal variety in there with the hook lines and with their own kind of bars to really kind of carry it. I think they each had an angle on the whole concept of like whipping through the burbs. And they communicated that succinctly and in a way that made sense within the 3 minutes 11 that we had them. Remembering, of course, we had like the kind of skit at the end with that guy talking about the finger, you know, the finger going to the hospital and stuff like that. So that's cool. That's great. Well done. I think, so the vocals were on point. I don't think we needed to do anything differently with that. I think it was nice to have the modulated vocals in the bridge part as well as a little bit of a foil kind of, before things kind of ramped up again for the hook line with the bass coming back in with the drums. We had a lot of variety again. It was captivating throughout. The vocals were handled well, and I think they made sense with the story. The theme itself, you know, we had like kind of aggressive in-your-face drums, a bass line which did not care about what you thought and just kind of rolled and kind of growled there. We had like a little music boxy kind of thing with an interesting arpeggio there that was chimey and kind of shimmered as well. And we had that really beautiful organ tone at the start, which was kind of grand and very kind of like, look at me, this is something worth listening to, you know, like every element here that was chosen was there because I wanted to capture the listener's attention. And overall, I think the combination of those, as well as the distorted guitar riffs going into the hook line, and obviously the acoustic little drum fillers, this different kind of percussive texture to what we had with the kind of samples that we have in like the hook and verse parts. It's just wonderful that we had that much range there. We really didn't need to go as hard as this. A lot of the kind of rap and hip hop I listen to, it has like one theme that's kind of repeated throughout the entirety of the track, but we really paid attention to in the songwriting and composition perspective to allowing a different kind of sound for each bit. And that just makes it so much better for the listener. And I would wholeheartedly encourage anyone who does hip hop and rap and who is currently working with like one theme per song to consider changing it up. Even if it's got a similar bass line and a similar chord progression, just use different instruments to communicate things. It doesn't need to be a massive departure, just change. Even in a short form track makes it so much easier for people to stay involved in your music and to want to be there. So I think the theme itself, all the things over there, it was combative. There was a sense of uncertainty there, but at the same time it was weirdly resolute, as if to say, I know I don't care about what you think. We're just whipping through the burbs. We're doing our thing. We've got stuff handled. We don't need your opinion and we don't need your validation. It's fantastic. That theme there to me makes sense with the story that's being told, with the vocals. There's a great connection between the elements. I got no complaints. I think, you know, with that out of the way,
Finally, the studio recording, mixing and mastering was on point. Like, it's spectacular. I'm so stoked with the way things were handled in that respect. These headphones I'm wearing, if you've kind of stuffed up somewhere, if you've made a mistake, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find it. I couldn't hear any issues here. Like, the vocals were so pristine, both of the modulation and the distorted overdubs, but also the different takes between Chief Maez and Aztec Flow. You could hear everything clearly. It was nicely handled, filtered, and EQ'd. The organs or the guitars or the bass, the drums, etc., they were all within their own part of the frequency spectrum, and that was positioned at various points around the stereo field as well. It surrounded the listener, made it very enjoyable to listen to, and I'm just stoked with it. I think they smashed it out of the park. No complaints there whatsoever, really. From the bottom of my heart, I think it's some of the best produced rap and hip-hop I've heard in quite a while, even at a commercial level. The variety of what was going on in the piece was matched by how there was like dynamic range to it, so things weren't squashed, which was awesome. There were variations in the energy levels, like from that kind of quieter bridge without the low-end elements going boom back into that hook, but it was also nice and loud without pumping, so limiting compression was handled. And I want to say, like, I might have sounded like I was being a little bit too positive about this track. That is not the case. It's probably better for me to be able to find fault with stuff, because then people can know that I'm being authentic with my reviews, because a lot of reviews probably are expected to be positive. I try to be honest with these and constructive and analytical with it, but I genuinely feel as if there isn't anything I can fault with this. If there are faults that you can hear while listening to it, I can only assume after doing like 1,000 of these reviews that they're subjective. Unless there's something I've missed, and you can let me know in the comments. But this is my review of the track The Burbs by Aztec Flow featuring Chief Maez, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do check out their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.